Hey guys, True Grit Scott, Bulletproof Saws and BlueSaws.com. Want to make a quick video, and God, I don't know if I have what I meant to have in my pocket. Oh, I do. Okay. Working on these g366 ms361 mufflers, and I'm at the point where I'm just brazing them back together. I try not to think about these too much because they're a real pain in the ass. And the problem is you cut them apart, you drill the spot welds out for the guard that's in there, and then you drill a hole in the side. That's not that big of a deal. None of it's that big of a deal. It's just there's so many steps to the process. Then you get your deflectors from Dyno Joe, and you trim them with the shears, and you clean them up a little bit on the wire wheel, and you got to clean everything as you're going. And then you got to clean the parts where you're brazing to. By the time you're done with it, you got more time invested in them than you wanted to have. But anyhow, that's how I do it. So I split them apart like that. But one of the things that I do is after I braze them, I'll clean them up real quick on the wire wheel because there'll be, a little bit of glass from the brazing process, and I want to make sure that's not sealing up anything. And I'll take my pen light and I'll shine it in the back of it, and then I can see if I missed a spot on that seam with brazing, which is pretty easy to do. On this one, I missed here and I marked it, and then I missed a little bit on the deflector. Now we've done these two ways. We've done them brazing them, and I had a buddy of mine TIG weld them together for me, and I like the TIG welding going around the seam. That seems real nice and easy. I don't know if it's quicker than brazing. I gotta watch him do it and then see if I can do it, because I'm not much of a TIG welder, but I could try and see how that goes. But when he did the TIG, he only tack welded the deflector on, which I guess is better than, some guys just put a couple screws in them, which I don't like. The reason I don't like that, and the reason I didn't love the TIG welded ones, they're adequate. It's gonna stay on there, it's not gonna break off. That's not the problem. Where screws may come loose, screws do come loose. But the problem that I have is with that exhaust coming out, some oily exhaust, especially if you're running rich, it'll leak a little bit of that exhaust goo out the sides there, and that's what I don't want. So I go through it pretty hard with the flashlight, then I'll re-braze that spot, hit it again, check it again, and it just adds to the process on these things. I just listed these again. We're out of stock on them. I listed them the other day. I think I did 8 or 10 of them, broke them in half, so took them all apart, had them all ready to go, and then I got 2 orders in, so that meant I got to get these done so I could ship these out tomorrow, because the orders came in today, and well, tomorrow's Saturday. I'll either ship them out tomorrow or Monday, depending, because then I got to repaint them and everything. Anyhow, I guess the whole point of the video was to bitch about doing these. And I guess I'm stuck doing them because I've seen a lot of crappy ones. Like, I've gone on eBay and I see where guys, I don't know how I know how you can do it. I don't know why you would do it. I've seen guys take a torch, stick the torch in the back of the muffler, spin the muffler, and cut out pieces of that, what do you call it? Cage, baffle, whatever you want to call that, deflector, spark arrestor. And they cut it out. I've seen guys shaking pieces of metal out of it, and I'm like, maybe you got all that metal out of there before you sent it to somebody. But if you left a piece of metal in there and it gets sucked up by their saw, they're going to be not thrilled. So I've seen that. Then I've seen guys that don't even do that, and they'll put a hole right in the front of the muffler and put a pipe, which I go back and forth on this. I don't like the idea of anything right across from the exhaust port on the cylinder. I don't like an outlet right there, because if you were going to get any pushback of that charge from hitting the wall, it's gone. It's going right out. So you lose that. So whenever I want a deflector on any muffler, doesn't matter on a saw, it's never going to be, for me personally, right across from the outlet on the cylinder. That way we could stuff that charge back. There's more to it. It's not a tuned pipe. I realize all that, guys. But I'm saying any little bit of pushback is lost. And listen, maybe it amounts to 3%. Who cares? But if I could put a deflector on the side, or on this, if I had to put the pipe in the front, maybe I'd put the pipe down at the bottom, or offset very far to the side. That way when the charge blew across, it did have something to hit against. I don't know, it's just some thoughts on these mufflers that I hate doing. And listen, I'm no welder, so my brazing is adequate. It's not wonderful, and I guarantee a real welder would be like, ah, ah, ah. Then again, a real welder's not going to be doing them for the price I'm doing them for either, so there's a little bit to it. But they actually do come out really good, and they hold up well. And I think I said it in another video, but one of the inadvertent torture tests these guys get is when I'm hitting them on the wire wheel. I got a big old wire wheel. It'll suck it out of my hands and slam it off the floor, and luckily I'm not denting them, but they don't come flying apart. So apparently the brazing's holding good enough for you to slam it off the floor, because it's kind of like when that wire wheel catches it and throws it out of my hand, it's like one of them baseball pitchers that the kids in Little League use, that they feed 100 baseballs in and the wheels would spin and shoot the ball at them, and you can set the speed of it. I mean, it flies right out of my hand and slams against the floor, and I'm really shocked. The metal's actually thicker on these 366 mufflers than a lot of the other aftermarket mufflers. I'm not saying it's super thick. I'm not saying it's like a Egan Sure Shot, you know, 10 gauge or something like that. It's not 10 gauge, but it's thicker than 16, I'd say. 14 maybe? Something like that. Anyhow, that's my rant about these mufflers. Figured I'd make a quick video for you guys. True Grit Scott, bulletproof saws and bluesaws.com. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.